Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time for my final review of a Star Trek Next Generation film. This is episode number 10 of my countdown to Star Trek Into Darkness, and I've gotta say this is surprise number 2, Star Trek Nemesis from 2002, another Star Trek Next Generation movie that I actually enjoyed. So 2 for 4 of these movies have actually been really good, in my opinion. I like this one better than Generations and better than First Contact. I didn't quite like it as much as I did Insurrection. This one was not directed by Jonathan Frakes. This was directed by Stuart Baird. It was written by John Logan from a script by John Logan, Rick Berman, and Brent Spiner. And again, it's another really solid film. Again, I won't get into the plot so much, as this one is a little more politically motivated. It is... it doesn't have the same romantic elements that Star Trek Insurrection had for Jean-Luc Picard, but it does have sort of a cerebral pairing with his face-off with this villain called Shinzon, who is played, surprisingly, by Tom Hardy. I did not know he was in this movie. And it's kind of funny watching this early-ish performance of him. You can sort of see glimpses of Bane just here and there. It's real subtle, and most people would miss it. I just picked up on it a little bit, only because I've seen Dark Knight Rises so many damn times. I thought the special effects in this film were really good. I thought the cast gelled once again. The action, there was quite a bit more action in this outing than previous Next Generation films. I thought the humor really worked well. I just thought this was just another more natural film. It's probably as a result of these actors playing these characters so many times over what was the last 15 years or so. And I think they could just sort of, step into the personas a lot more easily, and it showed up on screen. Some people may criticize that as sort of, not really acting, but just sort of going through the motions or whatever. But for these guys, it just seemed more natural and more comfortable, and I think they seemed a lot less stiff in this, unfortunately, the final of the Next Generation films than they did in Generations or even First Contact. I actually started liking the Next Generation characters. I started liking the cast. I thought the romantic continuation from Insurrection with Troy and Riker was good, culminated in a marriage, and of course the consummation of that marriage, which was unfortunately interrupted by by Shinzon in kind of an odd scene. The only thing that I think was a downfall for this particular movie was the introduction of Data's brother, B4. I thought that just reeked of a plot device, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. His inclusion served no purpose other than something towards the end of the film, which isn't really fleshed out, no pun intended, but it's there for a reason, and it was the only unnatural thing, I guess, in this film. I didn't think this was really a good send-off for the cast. The original cast got a great send-off in The Undiscovered Country. Nemesis was not such a great send-off for the Next Generation cast, being their final appearance together. You got a sense that it was sort of going to be the final film. There were mentions of the cast members, or the characters rather, moving on and doing other things in the Star Trek universe, but it didn't seem like a farewell movie. And in fact, there was supposed to be another film following this that was supposed to be a farewell movie, but Nemesis's disappointing box office receipts prevented Paramount from doing another entry in the series, which I think that's I mean, I don't want to say they outstayed their welcome, but apparently the public had started to tire of them. I would love to have seen another movie, but here I am, 11 years after this movie was released, finally seeing it for the first time, so I'm hardly in step with the times. as far as this. I mean, it's kind of funny to think that this was released when the first Spider-Man movie was released, the one with Tobey Maguire, and Attack of the Clones, Star Wars. So it gives you some idea of how long ago that really was, how much things have progressed since then. I mean, we've not only rebooted the Star Trek series, but we've rebooted the Spider-Man series, and we're going to reboot not reboot, but I guess continue the Star Wars series at some point. So, quite a bit of time has passed since this movie was released. I didn't like it as much as Insurrection. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as my second favorite of the Star Trek Next Generation films. I thought it was a solid film. I'm surprised that I liked it as much as I did, only because the first two movies were just not really what I was expecting. So I really have to say that the Next Generation films, although I don't own them, and that's why I'm not holding anything up, I watch them all on Amazon Prime, I still think they're worth seeing, and they're really, all four of them are worthy additions to the Star Trek universe, even though some of them are not as enjoyable as others. So I have to say, I for my first go-round with the Next Generation crew, all in all, I came out the other side a lot more positive than I thought I would end up being. But the next film up will be the Star Trek reboot from 2009, and I'm looking forward to watching that, because that is going to lead directly into next week's review of Star Trek Into Darkness. The whole reason for this countdown was to get me ready for that film. And I have to say, I'm a little leery going into Star Trek Into Darkness. Seeing the trailers, and I'm not quite as pumped as I was when I started doing this. But maybe watching Star Trek from 2009 will get me back into the mood for it. So thanks again for watching, everybody. As always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I look forward to seeing you very shortly for my review of Star Trek from 2009. Thanks for watching.